Thank you, thank you, thank you. Thank you very much. Adam did everything that he could not to say that Amanda Banks was a better state senator than Jim. Did you notice that when he made that introduction? Yeah. My friends, good afternoon. It is a blessing and a privilege to be with all of you here today. Where is Pastor Brown from Abundant Life Church? Pastor, thank you. Let's thank Abundant Life Church for having us here today. Pastor, as you know, this church is very special to me. Churches don't officially get involved in politics, right? They don't back political candidates. But there are a lot of people in Abundant Life Church who have backed me. And I wouldn't be a congressman today if it weren't for a lot of the folks that go to church here on Sundays. And I also can tell all of you that I have a good fraction of my staff. I think it's a prerequisite when we hire that they have to have some affiliation with Abundant Life Church. So, Pastor, welcome. He's the new pastor of this church. You're going to hear from him in a moment. The secret that I have, Pastor, is I tune in on Sunday afternoons and watch you online as you preach, and we're really excited about your ministry here and where Abundant Life is going under your leadership. And we are proud as the most pro-life community in the entire state of Indiana that Abundant Life Church opened their doors for us to do what we're doing here today, right? To my friend Bishop Rhodes, it's always an honor to be with you. Thank you for all that you do for life, all that you do for this community. Northeast Indiana is so privileged to have Bishop Rhodes' leadership of the Catholic Church here and his leadership at large of this community. It's always an honor to be with you. Thank you for all that you do as well. Please thank Bishop Rhodes. My friend Adam Mildred, who I've known since college, we have a mutual destruction clause. He tells stories, I tell stories, so we never go there. But Adam, right, Adam? Adam read a great list of all of the pro-life elected officials that we have who are here today. And I want two of them to stand up. My mentor in the Indiana State Senate, Dennis Cruz. And one of my very best friends in Northeast Indiana, State Representative Matt Lehman, and his better half, Joy. Joy sticks up for me on Facebook every now and then. I always notice it. It always makes me smile, so that's why she's my favorite Lehman. Folks, did you know that this week Indiana was named the 5th most pro-life state in the entire country because of these two men? In Washington, D.C., I'm very proud to talk about Indiana and what we've done at the state level in the cause to protect life. And it's because of the pro-life leadership that we have at the State House. And much of that pro-life leadership comes right here from Northeast Indiana. And they are nurtured and supported by the pro-life cause that all of you are a part of here today. To my friends Kathy, Zach, Abigail, all of the board of Northeast Indiana Right to Life, we couldn't do everything that we do without you. Zach, where's Zach? I would not want to replace Kathy Humbarger. But I know my friend Zach is going to do a great job and do everything that he can to fill into those enormous shoes and lead this organization forward in a big way. Zach, I'm very proud of you. Congratulations. Look, I stand before you under different circumstances today than what I did a year ago. And I want to reflect for a moment on where we've been before I talk about where we're going. For the last 4 years, ladies and gentlemen, we have had the most pro-life president in American history under Donald J. Trump. And for 4 years on your behalf, I was very proud to play a small role in what his administration and the Congress did to protect life. I want to talk about that really briefly. Under President Trump's leadership, the Congress and he specifically reinstated Ronald Reagan's Mexico City policy. The Mexico City policy prohibits your tax dollars from going toward funding abortions in foreign countries. Is that not common sense? The previous president, President Trump, repealed the Mexico City policy. President Bush, George W. Bush, reinstated the Mexico City policy. President Clinton repealed the Mexico City policy. Do you see a pattern? We went from President Obama, who at the time was the most pro-abortion president in American history, to President Trump, who was the most pro-life president in American history, who reinstated the Mexico City policy. Under President Trump's leadership, we stripped Planned Parenthood of Title X grants, which is the second largest funding stream to Planned Parenthood, blocking an enormous amount of your taxpayer dollars from going to fund the nation's largest abortion provider. And under President Trump's leadership, maybe most importantly of all, we saw 3 new pro-life Supreme Court justices added to the Supreme Court and over 200 highly qualified pro-life judges installed at the federal level. I contend that none of that was possible without President Trump's leadership and without the backing of pro-life supporters like all of you. Now, it's going to feel like whiplash. It already feels like whiplash for me. It's been a very tough 23 days in Washington, D.C. as we kicked off 2021 so far. We've gone from the most pro-life president in American history who replaced the most pro-abortion president in American history to date before him. And ladies and gentlemen, I'm sad to tell you that under this new administration just installed on Wednesday, President Biden already has the making of becoming and exceeding President Obama as becoming the most pro-abortion president to date. What do I mean by that, and what is the evidence of that? The Joe Biden administration and the Democrat majority in both chambers of Congress are committed to using the power of the federal government to increase abortions, and they want you to pay for it. President Biden is assembling the most radical pro-abortion administration that we have ever seen. Look at his pick, for example, to lead the very important Department of Health and Human Services. When he was in California, he led the fight before the Supreme Court overruled it to force pregnancy centers, pro-life pregnancy centers, to advertise for abortions. And that is who President Biden is installed to take over the Department of Health and Human Services. Less than 24 hours after President Biden was inaugurated on Wednesday, he signaled that he would repeal, once again, President Reagan's Mexico City policy. Once again, that prevents our taxpayer dollars from going to fund abortions in foreign countries. I can't wrap my head around that. That is so radical that for a president to repeal a good policy and replace it with one that uses our taxpayer dollars to pay for abortions in foreign countries. And of course, the Democrats have already told us. Chuck Schumer has made it very clear, one of their very top priorities now that they control the Senate is to pack the Supreme Court, doing irreparable harm to the future of this country if they do so. And their number one mission would be to pack the court with pro-abortion judges. Now, over where I work in the Congress with Speaker Pelosi and now the new Senate leader Chuck Schumer, one of their very top priorities that they've made clear in the Congress is to repeal something called the Hyde Amendment. Have any of you heard of the Hyde Amendment? When Rosa DeLauro became the new leader of the House Appropriations Committee, she campaigned to her Democrat colleagues that one of her very top priorities would be to repeal the Hyde Amendment when she takes over control, which she has, of this very powerful committee that oversees all spending on our behalf in the Congress. Rosa DeLauro, have you ever seen her, different color hair every time she's on TV? She says that this will be her very top priority. One of the very first things that she will do would be to repeal the Hyde Amendment. Now, I don't know if you know much about the Hyde Amendment, but it's been in place since 1976. And since then, it's been broadly bipartisan. Every president, every Democrat president since Jimmy Carter has supported the Hyde Amendment. Joe Biden was supportive of the Hyde Amendment as soon as 2019. until the radical wing of his party took over control of their party and said, our mission and our part of our party platform will be to repeal the Hyde Amendment. Now, a few weeks ago, I became the chairman of something called the Republican Study Committee. It's the largest conservative caucus in the entire House of Representatives. And I'm proud to tell you on your behalf as your representative and in leading this giant conservative organization, the House of Representatives, which, by the way, we've had a lot of Hoosier representation in the Republican Study Committee. A guy named Mike Pence used to be in charge of it. Welcome home to our great, now former vice president, former governor, a man who I admire so much. And he's one who inspired me to take the reins of this conservative organization for this reason. This week I have circulated a letter to all of my colleagues, Republican and Democrat, and asked them to sign a letter to the House and Senate leadership saying, we will not support a spending deal if that spending deal does not include Hyde Amendment protections. Now, would you believe it? I have had 200 Republicans sign my letter, which I'm going to release publicly next week. I'm still working on a few more. Can any of you guess how many Democrats have signed my letter? 0. This is not my dad's Democrat Party. Because 20 years ago, when you had blue dog Democrats in the Democrat Party, you had a very large faction of Democrats who supported the Hyde Amendment. Again, Joe Biden supported the Hyde Amendment as soon as 2019, just a few years ago. Today, not a single Democrat in Congress will sign a letter that says that we demand Hyde Amendment protections in any spending deal that moves forward in the Congress. Now, I'm proud to tell you I'm doing my part. I'm showing leadership on this subject and a lot of other pro-life efforts in the Congress on your behalf, which I'm very proud to do. But I'm also sad that that's the state of affairs where we find ourselves today. Earlier this week, I also introduced another piece of legislation, the Taxpayer Conscience Protection Act, that directs states to report the federal Medicaid payments that they send to abortion providers. And next week, I'm proud to tell you, in a very important week in the House of Representatives as we prepare for the National March for Life next Friday, we will be rolling out 20 pieces of pro-life legislation, and I'm proud to tell you I'm an original co-sponsor on every single one of them. Now, I want to thank you. I sense a somber mood in the room today, and I understand why. I feel it too. I am concerned about the direction of our country under this new leadership in Washington. But I promise you that I will continue to fight for life every single day that I serve in Congress. And I'm proud to stand alongside all of you today. I thank, from the bottom of my heart, I thank you to Northeast Indiana Right to Life for what you do, to rally for this cause, to lead the way, and I'm proud to stand with all of you. Thank you. God bless.